Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm starting in a seated position, and also we're going to do some seated stretches. I'm going to do some seated stretches this morning for a little bit longer than usual. Kind of try to hold them. So if you would want something to use as a yoga strap, maybe to just wrap around your feet for like some of those poses, you might want to grab something. Otherwise, just taking your time and get down to a seated position. Always grab something to sit on if you feel like that's helping you lift your spine, especially if your lower back is giving you issues or just tired, feeling achy, tired. And just get comfortable. Rock from side to side. Feel that connection to the mat. Hands softly to the knees. You're going to breathe into the belly, then lifting through the sternum, and up through the crown of the head. String pulling up. Exhale, let the shoulders just ease away from the ears. Almost like the shoulder blades are sliding down the back. You can close your eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths into the belly. Feeling that belly button just move forward. Exhale again. Release, let go. Let go of anything. And one more deep breath into the belly until we move into the Ujjayi breathing. So expanding. You can exhale all the way and then start to fill up the belly. Expand through all four sides of the rib cage. Moving slowly up, opening the chest. And keep your eyes gently closed for this. And then just with your mind's eye, watch your lungs expand, your chest widen. And the exhalation, letting go from the top, emptying the chest. Draw that navel in, empty the belly all the way. Start your next round of Ujjayi breath. You can take a hand to the belly, a hand to the chest. And exhale. Empty the chest into the belly. Inhale. Expand. Create space in the belly and the chest, filling up every millimeter of the inside of our rib cage, your belly, torso, chest, lungs. And releasing, emptying the lungs first. Draw the belly in at the end. And just take two more of these Ujjayi breaths, or these Christmas tree-shaped breaths. Just letting that breath bring you into the moment. Just watching the breath. Exhalation, just releasing. Just having a sense of calm wash over you. And then return to those normal deep belly breaths, where we're going to stay for the rest of the time. And on the inhalation, you can open your eyes. And the exhalation, bring that right shoulder, ear down to the shoulder. Just gonna soften from the tip of the shoulder up to the ear. You can reach those left fingertips. Add the right hand. Gentle, gentle with the neck. Just lengthening, softening. And steady, those long, steady, nice breaths. And release, inhale up. Inhale up, our arms, start to wake up the arms. Reach for that stretch to the back of the shoulders. We're going to just pull down those elbows into a goalpost. So I'm really feeling that stretch. Almost feels like those shoulders or arms being pulled towards the back of the room. Inhale up. So feel the stretch in the front and the backs of the shoulder. Exhale down. Softly bring those hands to the back of the head. And just guide the chin towards the chest. We're not cranking, not pulling, just letting that weight of the hands just lead the chin in towards the chest, so just lengthening the back of the neck. Still lifting through the sternum, breathing into the belly. And release. Hands softly to the knees, inhale up. And then we're going to bring that left ear down to that left shoulder. Reach those right fingertips. You can option to add this left hand to the right side of the face. Or just staying right here. Just feel that opening, the softening. Or just tip the shoulder up to the ear, to the base of the skull here. And you should feel no discomfort or pinching. Just a nice soft lengthening of the muscles in the neck. And release. Inhale, lift the sternum. Make sure you have a nice long spine. Close the eyes and take a few head rolls. So just drawing big circles with the nose. Clockwise. And just slowly, mind's eye to the neck, every muscle, watching or observing as it lengthens. Slowly, if you have one muscle or you just want to pause, you can. We're just making those nice, slow circles. Notice if you're holding any tension, if any of those muscles that are connecting your neck to your shoulders or your upper back are especially tight. We just want to breathe into those areas and soften. And just change direction. Nice big circles with the nose. Nice soft lengthening of all the muscles in the neck. And change direction. Just a few clockwise circles with the nose. In direction one more time. Counterclockwise, just a few more head rolls. Really just checking in with all those muscles that connect the neck, the head, to the rest of the body. or your neck and shoulders. You're holding tension in your face, release. And make those circles smaller. And then finally coming to a neutral position. You can inhale, blink the eyes open if they're closed. And reach out. And of course, yep, come by. As always, give yourself a hug. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. And let the cat out. I suppose everyone's used to that by now. And we're gonna release. Reach out. And then opposite arm comes on top. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Lift the sternum. Just feeling that length. Just pull those shoulders down. Giving ourselves a nice big hug. And release. Inhale out those arms. Drop that right hand. Lift up through that right elbow. And more breath. Gently release. Bring that across the body. Just guiding that. You can always massage the upper arm. Bring that to a little hook. Pull that in towards the chest. And then we're going to move that elbow in, right elbow inside of the left elbow. And just bring those arms out in front. Still breathing into the belly, lifting through the sternum. You can wrap all the way around. I'm just going to gently want to move the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale up and just lift up those elbows just a little bit. Just could be an inch. Exhale, pull those elbows down. Inhale, one more time, lifting. Feeling that stretch, especially through the right shoulder. And exhale. Just bring those elbows down towards the mat. Unwind. You can shake out the arms. And then we're going to inhale up. Drop this left hand, grab this left elbow, lift up. Breathe. And release, bring this arm across the body. Nice. Massage the upper arm, move this right arm into a hook, pull this into the chest. Notice your breathing, notice your face. Are you holding any tension? Let your tongue be loose in your mouth. We're softening your gaze past your nose and then moving that elbow, left elbow inside of the right elbow. And wrap all the way around. Gently let those shoulders ease away from the ears while still lifting through the sternum, keeping a nice long spine. And inhale, just lift up those elbows just a little bit. Exhale, pull those elbows down. Almost like a really subtle seated cat-cow. Inhale up. Exhale, pull those elbows down. And unwind, release. You can roll those shoulders back a few times. Push them up. Push them back with those shoulder blades almost kiss. Let them fall back down. And we're pushing up towards the ears. Push those forward. Release. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Push those shoulders forward. Look weird for a second and let those drop. And then from here, I'm going to lengthen and then come forward, just hinging at the hips, bring those hands forward. Check in with your low back. How does it feel? You can always, and your hips, are they tight? Breathe into any tight areas, or just loosen, soften on the exhalation. Walk those hands further if you like, or just stay in here. And wherever you're at, just walk those hands over to the right. You're going to feel that stretch, that opening through the left side of the hip, the torso, just all along here. Reaching to those fingertips and then breathing. Lengthen through the back of the neck. So nose comes down towards the floor. Let those hips feel heavy, connected to the mat. And walk back to center. Walk those hands a little further just for a breath as an option. And then we're going to come over to the left side. Reach to those right fingertips. Feel that with that mind's eye pulling back through that right hip. Soften your face, soften your gaze, just down towards the floor. More breath. Breathe into the belly. Hips are heavy. Walk back to center. Just a breath or two here. Always spider crawl those hands further forward. Only if that feels okay on your lower back. And walk those hands back up. And bring those hands kind of just out to the side and back. Bring those legs out in front. And just drop those to the right. Kind of bring those hands up by your hips. You can like tense the hands or just bring those heels of the hands, the fingers pointed towards the back. Almost take that gaze over to the left for our left shoulder. Just making sure that our neck has full range, full mobility. Nice stretch to that side of the neck. It'll feel a little different than those first stretches, and release. Bring those legs up, drop them to the other side, and then lift, and then gaze over that right shoulder. And release. Come back to a cross-legged position. Inhale up, reach, arms to V, pull those elbows down once all the way. Inhale up. This right hand down, lift, and then come over. Hips are still attached to the mat, and then finding that spot that opens to the left, but doesn't allow your hip to come up. So you can even come down all the way to the elbow. Breathe. Where's your breath? And release. Inhale up. We're going to inhale, both the arms up. And this left hand down, and then reach up and over. Feel those ribs float apart. And release. Both arms up. Right arm down. Lift over again. Spin open. Pull that thumb towards the back of the room. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Gently release. Bring this hand down to the knee. Slide this hand behind. Lift the sternum to the crown of the head and take that gaze towards the back of the room. Inhale, lengthen, feeling that vertebrae just elongate. The exhalation, that nose just goes a tiny bit further back towards the back of the room, tiny bit deeper into that twist. And release, slowly unwind. Inhale up, come down, reach, spin open. And softly release this hand down or slide this hand back. Lift and then take that gaze back. Lift to the crown. Lengthening on the inhalation. Imagine those vertebrae just lengthening, creating space. Exhalation, take that gaze, that nose just a little bit further back. One last exhalation. And release. And then we'll slowly come into a tabletop position, taking your time, bringing your knees under your hip points. And making sure that you spread out your fingers as always. Protecting your wrists. Pressing down through the tops of those feet, feeling that length through the crown of the head to the tailbone. Ease those hips back. And coming forward, stretch the wrists, just really, just gently just past the wrists. And at the neutral position, we'll just take those hips out to the left, push them, circle around to the other side, push those right hips out. And just check in with the hips, or you're holding tension there, really tight. And then rounding, coming back around, kind of a semicircle. Over to the left, push those hips out to the left. And coming back, semicircles, go full circle around. Loosen the hips and stretch out the wrists. And then one other circle around. And then to neutral position. Inhale, press that belly down, that belly button down, pull those shoulders back into cow pose. Wake up that spine a little bit more and exhale, around, tuck the tailbone, bring that chin in towards the chest, lift that, or bring that belly in towards the spine, up towards the ceiling. Inhale and press that belly down. Exaggerating that movement, push those shoulder blades towards each other. You can open the jaw, loosen the jaw. Then exhale, coming back to cat, rounding everything. Inhale to cow. And then on your own breath, your own pace, just take a few more rounds. Feel that spine warm up. As you switch between the cat and the cow, that transition, feeling all those muscles start to just warm up, become more malleable. Back to a neutral position. Bring those knees together, feet together. We're just going to lift up those feet just a little bit and look over our left shoulder. And then come right over to the right. Over to the left. Over to the right. And just kind of doing a few rounds of those. Just making that torso into a C shape. Just moving our back in a different way. You kind of do as fast or slow. And release. Knees coming back under the hip points. I'm going to inhale and exhale, press through that right heel. Keep this left hip over this left knee. Soften. And then we're going to lift. Always leveling off those hips. Checking. Drawing that navel under strong for that belly and that back. Stay here. Add that left arm for bird dog. Not holding your breath. Just letting that breath carry it with strengthening the back. Belly. And release. Inhale, one round of cat and cow. Press that belly down. Open the chest. Drop the jaw. And exhale, round. And draw that navel towards the ceiling. Back to neutral position. And exhale, bring that left heel back. Soften. Just checking that your right hip stays over that right knee. And then checking in with your wrists, so you're keeping those hands, fingers spread out, distributing that weight. Your wrists shouldn't hurt. And then we're gonna lift, level off, and staying here. Ride that right arm, reach those fingertips, press with that heel. Breathe into the belly. So tightening everything in the core, engaging everything. Let the breath carry you. And release down. Knees towards the edges of the mat, toes together. Ease back, reach forward. Forehead comes down to the mat. You can roll that head kind of like from side to side, the forehead, if that feels good, or just let everything just melt into the mat just for a few breaths. Let everything go. Breathe into the belly, and exhalation, just sink, release, relax. More breath here. And then slide those hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to press up. And then come up, bring those knees underneath the hip points. Walk those hands forward, then two puppies. We're stretching those shoulders. Bring that forehead towards the mat or down all the way to the mat. Press into the palms or come up on the fingertips. Feel that stretch of the shoulders. Breathe and notice your breath. And release. And we'll just slide that right arm right underneath that left arm. Let that right shoulder melt and soften into the mat. Every muscle in the right shoulder just softens, melts. And bend that right arm, press up. And switch arms, throw the needle, bring this left arm underneath the right, so that shoulder soften into the mat. Breathe into the belly, and the shoulder melts into the mat on the exhalation. Just a few more breaths here, allowing that shoulder to melt, soften. And bend that right arm to press up. From here, tuck the toes. Spread the fingers out. Middle finger points to the top of the mat. And then we'll just start to stretch. Lengthen those legs. Walk the dog. Alternate those heels on the mat. Soften through the backs of the legs. Press through the heels. Breathe into the belly. Strong through the arms, ears up by the biceps. And then just walk those feet up to the top of the mat. Those knees bent, our legs straight. Press all four corners of those feet. Those are gripping the mat. Grab opposite elbows. Let the top part of the body just hang, soften, lengthen. We're softening and stretching through the backs of the legs. Legs are straight, or maybe just a little bit bent. Feel that widening in the low back. You can sway, nod, and shake the head. Release. Take a half lift. We're just going to gaze forward. Draw that navel up. And then exhale. Let's come to a forward fold. Stay here just a little longer to let the blood flow to the heart. So knees bend, legs straight. Just want strong legs and to bring that nose towards the shins or the knees. Just one or two more easy breaths here, and then we're going to inhale, slide those hands up, take a half lift. And we're going to bend the knees, bring those hands down. We're going to step that left foot back, come into a lunge, strong through the legs, lifting through that hamstring. Bring that knee down. Plant this left hand. Inhale, gentle twist. Exhale down. And then engaging our core before we sweep up. Let those hips fall forward. You can always just guide this right hip crease back. And we're going to go ahead and just paint the wall in front of us as we come into a half split, a runner stretch. So keeping this left hip over the left knee, toes up. Breathe, soften through the back of that right knee. And let those hips come forward. You're going to tuck those back toes and then straighten both of those legs. Come into a pyramid pose. So we're pressing through those feet. Split that mat apart. Nose towards the shin, lengthen to the back of the neck. And then from here, we're just going to walk those hands over. Pick those toes towards the side of the mat. We're already in a wide leg forward fold. From here, you can heel toe those feet kind of further apart if you need to, and press those. Just bring those hands down to the floor. Bring those hips. Make sure they're above the ankles and not swaying back. With those joints stacked. Press through those feet. Suck up those kneecaps. You can grab opposite ankle. You can grab the ankles and pull that forehead down towards the floor if that feels good. Just pressing, engaging. And then from here, we're going to walk those hands over, come into a lunge on the other side. Lift for that back hamstring, strong through those legs. Softly bring down that back knee. And then engage the core before bringing up those arms and lifting, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Let those hips fall forward. Let's guide this left hip crease back. And then go ahead and paint that wall in front of you as we sweep into a runner stretch. Soften the back of that left knee. Toes up to the ceiling. How's your breath? Breathing into your belly. Let those hips fall forward. Tuck those back toes. Come into a side or pyramid, intense side stretch or pyramid pose. Press those feet. You can always bring those feet closer together, further apart. Let them hip width. You just want to be able to press into the mat. Breathe. And then release. We're going to bring this right foot to meet the left foot. And then we're just going to kind of start bending those knees, coming down, if that feels okay. And then finally, we're just going to come back and come right into boat. If that's awkward at all, just taking your time. It's awkward transition. From here, just however you get here, just come to your sit bones. Reach forward, breathing. And release. From here, legs forward, Dandasana, pressing down through those hands. Grab something for a yoga belt if you think that you would prefer that. Active. Inhale up. And then we'll hinge at the hips, grab the shins, the ankles, the feet, the yoga strap. And we'll just hold this a little longer than usual so you just kind of spend a little more time releasing into that stretch, feeling that through the low back, through the backs of the legs. Keeping a nice long spine, lengthen through the back of the neck. You might not be coming very far forward. I'm not going to be very far forward today. Maybe your nose is almost coming a lot closer to your shins. That's okay, wherever you're at, whatever's available to you today. Just as long as you're lengthening, pressing through those feet, pressing through the heels. Breathing into the belly. And release, bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. Just bring here. You probably know where your preference is by now, and I'm going to just grab those feet. Lengthen, lift through the crown of the head, the sternum, and then hinge forward the hips. Ease those knees away from the body. And release. Go ahead and straighten this right leg, bring this left foot in. Turn towards that right leg, just slide the hand down. Bring that nose down towards that shin. You can wrap the yoga strap around the foot. And breathe. Settle into that stretch. Always grab opposite sides of the foot, or just keep your hands on your shin. Keep a nice long spine. Then lengthen through the back of the neck. Just a gentle tuck of the chin. Pressing down through the back of the knee. And release. Go ahead and switch legs. And turn toward that lengthened leg. Slide the hands down. Press down to that right knee. Press through that left heel. Wrap a strap around the ball of the foot. Or just grab the shin, ankle, foot. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And breathe into the belly. And release. Come up, straighten that right leg. And press those hips forward. Just come to the spot that's available to you. So, those hands right in front and just walk those forward. So just walking forward until your spine starts to kind of hunch over. So as long as you can keep a nice, straight, longish spine, doesn't have to be perfect. Active through those legs, pressing through those heels. Press down through the backs of the knees. Breathe. And release. Walk those hands back up and bring those legs together. Bend the knees, keep your feet are hip width apart, and bring those fingers towards the back. And we're gonna take that intense hip stretch. So you can always skip it if it's a bit much, or just change your stance. So we're gonna lift up those hips, bring that ankle to that knee, and then settle down with those hips, and then go ahead and lengthen. And make that stretch a little more gentle, but we're still pressing that knee away, really getting those muscles in the hip. Breathing into that right hip and releasing on the exhalation, softening. And release. Right. Inhale, pick up those hips, bring that other ankle up, and then just adjusting your stance so that you can release that left hip, press that knee away. Breathe into the belly, lift through the sternum. And release. Come here, move those hips forward, grab the backs of the hamstrings, and we'll roll back. Grab those hips, roll from side to side. Arms come out to a T and just drop those knees to the right side of the body. Gentle spinal twist, just release. You can always straighten that top leg. Just however you need to release into that stretch. Soften your gaze to the ceiling. Check in with your breath. And pull those knees up. And we'll just drop those knees down to the other side of the body. Those arms in a T, or you can always cactus those arms, that feels better. Just make those adjustments so you can release into that twist. Breathe, soften your gaze to the ceiling. Release any tension in the cheeks. Tongue is loose in the mouth. And pull those knees back to center. Just gonna lengthen our legs out for Shavasana. Open up those palms to the ceiling, adjust the shoulders. Anything you need to release. And then we're going to take a deep breath into the belly. Exhale, close the eyes and sink down into the mat. Let everything go. Start to follow the breath. Breathe in relaxation. On the exhalation, softening. Let the muscles in the face release. The jaw, the cheeks, the tongue. The shoulders melt down into the mat. The arms, the biceps, triceps, forearms, hands. Soften and widen. Back releases, the hips melt. Hamstrings widen, soften, the quads feel heavy. The calves release, ankles, feet, the toes. Everything relaxes into the mat. Every muscle softens and widens. Just continue to follow the breath. Breathing in relaxation. Releasing on the exhalation. Just continue with the breath. Just relaxing a little bit more, releasing a little bit more with every breath. And slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head from side to side. And just slowly roll over onto the right side of your body. And press yourself up to a seated position. Bring the hands to heart center. On the inhalation, gently open the eyes, blink a few times. Namaste. As always, thank you for joining me. I'll be here tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then the next couple of weeks, it'll probably be closer to the old schedule, like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 10. But I'll send it out, and then maybe I'll add like Tuesday to Thursday, maybe like 11, maybe a shorter one. But if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like, let me know. And have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weather.